All right, before we do these two problems, or these problems here on the page, we need a couple little hints so we can keep track complementary and supplementary. The complementary angles are going to add up to 90 degrees. Here's how I always remember that. Think about complementary and supplementary in the alphabet. C comes before S, and then on the number line, 90 comes before 180. So I always have C going with 90, S going with 180. So complementary angles. Notice this is a pair of complementary angles. I can't say TQS. That's not a pair. That's only one angle. So I need to have two angles that add up to 90 degrees. That means it's going to have to be two acute angles. So if I look at PQT and SQR, notice I have 47 plus 43. That equals 90. So I know that those two angles form a pair of complementary angles, PQT and SQR. For supplementary angles, these are the ones that add up. We're going to do two pairs. That means two groups of two. An easy way to spot a supplementary angle is that they form a straight line. So if I go halfway around a circle, remember a circle is 360 degrees, halfway around a circle is going to be 180 degrees. So that means I have to go from P all the way to R, or R all the way to P. And I'm also going to need, if this is a pair of angles, that's going to mean I either need two 90-degree angles, which I don't have, or I'll need an obtuse plus an acute. So there's a little bit of strategy here. We need to find one acute angle, one obtuse angle. Otherwise, if I had two acute angles, there's no way it's going to add up to 180. Think about it. If I add up something less than 90 with something less than 90, there's no way it's going to equal 180. So let's look here at our example. Remember our strategy in the last example for finding obtuse angles. It's to ignore one of the rays. So let's start out, let me erase that semicircle. Let's start out by looking at the first acute angle that's kind of showing up, PQT. Notice that's 47 degrees. So PQT, notice I need to get from P all the way to R. So if I stop it at the point T, I'm going to pick up again at point T. I'm going to go back to my center and then finish out by going all the way to R. So my obtuse angle then is TQR. So PQT is acute, TQR is obtuse. So that gives me 180 degrees. Notice that's 47 plus 133. Let's go the other direction then. If I start with R and then go to S, RQS is 43 degrees. Well then notice all I have to do is finish out by doing an obtuse angle. So go from S back to the vertex Q and then all the way to P. Notice both of these have Q in the center, and both of them, whatever point you end with is the point you start with. And then notice both of our endpoints we have R and P. Okay, notice the first one is PQT plus TQR, P, and we end with R. Second pair, RQS, we start with R. SQP, we end with P. So we start with R, end with P. A couple little strategies there for figuring that out. Let's talk about why vertical angles work now. Remember, if we see that angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical, then the first thing that should pop into your head, let's circle that here, angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical. First thing to pop into your head is that these are equal measurements. So I know that the measure of angle, if the measure of angle 1 is 37 degrees, and they're vertical, I know the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2, or 3. So, therefore, the measure of angle 3 has to be 37 degrees. Let's talk about why that is. Why are vertical angles equal? No matter where two intersecting lines are, the angles that are across from each other are always equal. It has to do with supplementary angles. Look at angle 1 and angle 2. Notice how they form that straight line there, the line that's sloping up as you go from left to right. Since they form a line, remember a line is 180 degrees, it's halfway around a circle, so the way I can figure out angle 2 is if I have 180 degrees, which is that whole line, and I take away angle 1. So take away 37 degrees, I know angle 2 is 143 degrees. Well then think about how I could use that to figure out angle 3. Notice angle 2 and angle 3 I know form 180 degrees because they form that line that's sloping downward as you move from left to right. So if I had angle 2 as 143 and I take that away from 180, notice 180 minus 143 will give us 37. Angle 1 is 37, I know angle 3 is 37 because those are both supplementary with angle 2. And notice angle 4 is going to be 143 because 3 and 4 are supplementary. So you can work your way kind of like around in a circle around these 4 angles. And we're just proving that vertical angles actually are equal.